Hello and welcome to today's video. We are here for Stage 5. Stage 5? Stage 4. Whoa. Stage 5 does not exist. Stage 4, Week 5. Power rankings for the Overwatch League. Now, this is the final week of power rankings for the regular season. We'll take a look, of course, at how the playoffs will be looking towards the end of this. We'll see... Really? This isn't got anything on it yet for teams? Okay. But I do know that the teams will be playing July 10th will be the first day of the playoffs for the Overwatch League. So before that, we'll have a pre-playoffs power rankings where we rank the top or the 6 teams based on how good I think they are into that. And I think that there's 3 weeks of playoffs from what I've seen on the app. On the phone, so we'll have 3 weeks of power rankings for that. So, of course, that'll be very interesting because we'll have 2 teams at one point. But yeah, the stage is over. The season's over. It's time for the playoffs. That begins in about a month from now. So we'll be off for a couple weeks with this series. We do have something cool coming up. Another video later. Where we're actually going to take a look at how right were my predictions, and Lamim's predictions for the playoffs, and how wrong we really were. So, to start off here, I think I would news my team's 12th. The Shanghai Dragons, they went 0-10 in the stage, 4-36-1, my differential of -32. The Shanghai Dragons went 0-40 on the season, not a single win for them. They were 21-141-2, my differential of -120. Now, if we look at this week for the Shanghai Dragons, their week started off pretty bad. After they lost to Florida, I'm like, all right, they're going 0-40 because they were taking on very strong teams. This week they did not take a map. That's gotta suck to end your week getting 4-0 twice. I don't think any of the teams got 4-0 twice. No, actually, Florida did. Florida and Shanghai both ended their week without taking a single map. There were a lot of 3-1 matches this week, but no other teams got 4-0'd besides Shanghai and Florida. All right, Shanghai lost to the Los Angeles Gladiators 4-0. Of course, Kings Row, Horizon, Lunar Colony, Lijiang Tower, and Watchpoint Gibraltar. They lost all 4, of course. And then they took on the San Francisco Shock, losing Blizzard World, Horizon, Lijiang Tower, and Dorado. So not a good week for Shanghai, but honestly, when has there been a good week for Shanghai? I couldn't imagine being a Shanghai Dragons fan and watch your team go 0-40. It's going to be difficult. I know there's a lot of people that are like, super into Shanghai Dragons. Obviously, there's some people that are just like into them because they haven't won. They're like, wow, I want to root for the team that hasn't won. But, you know, there's a lot of people that are actually fans of Shanghai, and I think to have to represent your entire country and not get a single win in a season is difficult. Of course, being the only team from China for them. You know, I think you want to represent your country very well. 3 teams, London, Seoul, and Shanghai, they had to represent their entire country. So not performing well probably was disappointing for them. On a larger standpoint, I know for Seoul it was very disappointing for them not to make the playoffs either, because they're from the country that's supposed to be the best at esports. They represent literally the country that is supposed to be the best at esports, and not make the playoffs is obviously probably disappointing. Well, I know it is disappointing for them. But yeah. Next up here, the team that went 1-9 in this stage, they are ranked in 11th place. The Florida Mayhem. It seemed like, what is that, back in stage 2 they got a couple wins? They went 3-7 in that stage, and it seemed like they were picking things up a little bit because they had a bad stage 1. But honestly, Florida just couldn't put it all together. Stage 2 and 3, they got a couple wins, but they just really struggled all season. They went 1-9. They went 7-34-1. A differential of -27. Really, the only thing about the stage, the final power rankings of each stage is that it has a thing for the playoff for the stage left thing at the top, and it's kind of annoying. He's getting in the way. Florida Mayhem went 7-23 in the stage. They went 42, 120, and 5. Differential of -78. So these bottom teams here, especially Florida and Shanghai, probably going to work on retooling the rosters during the season, during the off season. So you'll probably see a lot of roster changes for those teams. There is a video that I put up, I believe yesterday, that tells about the changes in how the rosters will work for Season 2 of the Overwatch League. Or, I guess, 2019 season. Okay. So, as I said before, Florida was one of the only 2 teams that got 4-0'd twice this week. Actually, one of the only 2 teams that got 4-0'd this week. Against the London Spitfire, they dropped Kings Row, Hanamara, Oasis, and Dorado. And Florida this week also lost 4 out of the Boston Uprising, losing Kings Row, Horizon Lunar Colony, Lijiang Tower, and Watchpoint Gibraltar. So, the next team here in our power rankings, I didn't actually even open the power ranking thing up yet because I know this. Actually, I know what team's next too, don't I? Yes, I do. All right, all these teams have actually stayed, the bottom 3 teams have stayed in the same spot. Seoul Dynasty in our power rankings here. They are 3-7. I don't know why I have the London Spitfire ranked so high still. Either way, Seoul Dynasty went 3-7 in the stage. They went 19-25 after a differential of -6. In the league overall, Seoul Dynasty finished in 8th. They went 22-18 in the season, 79, 91, 78, and 3rd differential of 13. Seoul Dynasty this week, they had a very difficult thing. It was very difficult for them to make the playoffs. I believe I tweeted it out. Let's see if I can find it. It was a couple days ago. Let's see. 4 days ago? No, it was not Monday. It had to be like Wednesday. No, that's a game that they played. Where was it? I retweeted some things. Maybe I didn't tweet it out. I don't know. But I tweeted out basically saying that for them to make the overall playoffs, they had to have Houston go 1-1, and one of those ones had to be Philadelphia, and then Philadelphia had to lose 2 games, and they had to win 2 games. So it was very difficult, and they did not succeed at that. Houston beat Philadelphia. They won their first game, but they lost their second game, and then Philadelphia won anyway, so it didn't really matter. But Seoul Dynasty this week took on the Dallas Fuel, winning 3-1, taking Blizzard World, Horizon Lunar Colony, Oasis, and Dorado. They didn't take Oasis, but they took Dorado. I don't know why I said that. I'm just reading the maps at this point. And then Seoul Dynasty took on the Los Angeles Gladiators, where they lost 3-1, winning Kings Row, and then losing Hanamara, Oasis, and Watchpoint Gibraltar. Next team here in our power rankings this week. Down 2 spots, the Houston Outlaws. They ended up finishing 5th in the stage, but I ranked them really low because they had an opportunity in the playoffs and they blew it themselves. So it's like both those teams are ranked pretty low this week. Houston Outlaws went 6-4 in the stage, 22-18, and 1 differential of 4. In the league overall, the Houston Outlaws finished 7th. They went 22-18, 94, 77, and 2 differential of 17. This week, the Houston Outlaws had to beat the Philadelphia Fusion to have a shot to make the playoffs, and they did just that. They lost Blizzard World, but then won Horizon Lunar Colony, Lijiang Tower, and Watchpoint Gibraltar. This is the only time all season that I rooted for the Houston Outlaws as well. The Houston Outlaws then took on the New York Excelsior, where I got to go back to rooting against Houston. And Houston took Blizzard World, lost Horizon, won Lijiang, and then lost Dorado and Nepal. So, the next team in our power rankings this week are The Boston Uprising, they're up one spot. Boston went 4-6 in the stage. They went 20-19-2, differential of 1. Boston Uprising finished the Overwatch League in 3rd place, 26-14. They went 99-71 in 3rd maps, differential of 28. They got a huge boost from that stage where they went 10-0. The Boston Uprising this week took on the New York Excelsior, where they handed New York Excelsior their first loss that was not a 3-2 loss. New York lost to Boston after winning Blizzard World, but then Boston was able to win Horizon, Lijiang, and Watchpoint. That's kind of crazy. The only time all season New York lost that was not 3-2. Then Boston Uprising went and took on the Florida Mayhem, winning in 4-0 victory to finish off the Overwatch League. The final match of the regular season. It seems fitting that the final match of the regular season was a 4-0 victory. I mean, if you think of it, the Overwatch League in January, the first week was terrible. It was just 4-0 victories against, like, every team. I know Seoul won a bunch of 4-0 victories. I think they 4-0'd everybody. New York, London, like, that's when it was just those teams with the top teams. Everybody else was just trash. That's just how it was. So, yeah, Boston won Kings Row, Horizon, Lijiang, and Watchpoint. I don't need to scroll down for this one. I need to scroll down for this one. All right. Oh, wow. Look at your boy. Next team on our power rankings here. What? Wait. I messed up. I, for some reason, put the wrong team. So give me a second here. I accidentally put Houston twice instead of San Francisco Shock. So that's a problem. Let's see. Okay, so if I do this real quick, I do apologize. Normally I don't have these issues. But either way, the San Francisco Shock is next here in our power rankings. They came in 7th. This stage they finished 7th. They went 5-5. They went 23-16-2, differential of 7. They, in the Overwatch League, finished in 9th place. They went 17-23, 77-84-5, differential of 7. They came close to making the stage playoffs, but were not able to make it. Wait. That's the same dude. Interesting. So one dude was like triggered one day and he was like happy the other day. Yikes. Yes, so San Francisco Shock came close to making the stage playoffs a couple times. They're definitely going to be a Season 2 team for sure. Now, the Los Angeles Valiant beat the San Francisco Shock 3-1. The Valiant ended up losing Kings Row, winning Hanamura, Lijiang Tower, and Dorado. The San Francisco Shock then took on the Shanghai Dragons. The match that if Shanghai won, they would not have lost every match this season, but San Francisco said yeet dab and 4-0'd them, winning Blizzard World, Horizon, Lunar Colony, Lijiang Tower, and Dorado. Alright. Next team up, the London Spitfire. They're still in 6th here in our power rankings. They finished the stage in 9th. They went 4-6. They went 18-23-2, differential of 5. The London Spitfire finished the season in 5th place, making the season playoffs. They went 24-16, 102-69-3, differential of 33. The London Spitfire 4-0'd the Florida Mayhem. All they had to do was take one map from Florida and they would make the stage playoffs, which they did. So London won Kings Row, putting them in the playoffs, and then won Hanamura, Oasis, and Dorado. The London Spitfire then took on the Philadelphia Fusion, where they lost 3-1, losing Kings Row, Hanamar, Oasis, and then winning Watchpoint Gibraltar. Now, had they not won Watchpoint Gibraltar, the stage playoffs would be very, very different. Because right now, there would be a tiebreaker game, because in the stage, Philadelphia went 6-4, but they had a map differential of 4. Dallas Fuel went 6-4 and had a map differential of 5. So had Philadelphia been able to 4-0 London, they would have then had to do a tiebreaker match between the two to figure out who would be the fourth team in the stage playoffs. But that did not happen. Alright, up next on our power rankings is the Philadelphia Fusion, who had to 4-0 the London Spitfire to make the stage playoffs. Philadelphia Fusion finished in 6th place. They went 6-4, differential of 4. They were also the final team to make the stage playoffs, finishing ahead of Houston Outlaws and Seoul Dynasty by 2 games. Because they had 24, Houston and Seoul both had 22. Even though both those teams had better map differential. Actually, Seoul's tied, but Houston had the best map differential of teams that don't make the playoffs. Philadelphia was 24-16, 93-80-2, differential of 13. Let's see. Philadelphia this week took on the Houston Outlaws, where they lost 3-1, winning Blizzard World and losing Horizon, Lijiang, and Watchpoint. They then went on to win 3-1 against London Spitfire, winning Kings Row, Hanamura, Oasis, and losing Watchpoint Gibraltar. Alright, next team up here, the Dallas Fuel. I'm going to put them in the 4th position, which means I have to edit this again, because I accidentally put the wrong thing. Okay, the Dallas Fuel went 6-4 in the stage, 22-17-1 map differential of 5. The Dallas Fuel overall missed the playoffs weeks ago when they went 12-28. Their differential was 58-107, and they went -42 on map differential. The Dallas Fuel coming to the league with so much promise and missing the stage playoffs, just like the Seoul Dynasty did. Speaking of Seoul Dynasty, they took on Seoul Dynasty and lost this week, 3-1, losing Blizzard World and Horizon Lunar Colony, winning Oasis, and then losing Dorado. The core of Dallas Fuel has never been able to beat the core of Seoul Dynasty. Interesting. Later on, the Dallas Fuel went on to beat the, at the time, unbeaten Los Angeles Valiant in the stage. The Valiant were 9-0 going into this. They could be the second team to win a stage entirely, but they lost to the Dallas Fuel. Dallas Fuel beating them on Kings Row, losing Horizon Lunar Colony, and then winning Lijiang Tower and Watchpoint Gibraltar. And speaking of that, the reason why the Valiant had a differential of 15 compared to the Gladiators, who were also 9-1 in the stage. Alright, the next team up here in our power rankings is the New York Excelsior. They're down 1 spot again. Honestly, at this point, it doesn't really matter to them. They're just kind of throwing, sandbag, whatever you want to call it. Actually, when it was announced and the Gladiator said, hey, we're going to take on the Valiant, the player from New York was asked, if you had to bring something to the game tomorrow and it was a bag, what would you bring in the bag? And he said sand. So that was kind of funny. But either way, New York Excelsior went 7-3 in the stage. They had as many losses in the stage as they had the rest of the season. So they weren't really trying. They were 28-13. Differential of negative differential. What? They went 28-13-2. Their differential of 15. New York Excelsior, as everybody knows, locked up the number 1 seed in week 2 of the stage, going 34-6 this season. The best record ever in the Overwatch League, of course. They went 126-43-4, differential of 83. The New York Excelsior this week lost to the Boston Uprising 3-1, Again, as I said earlier in the video, the only time that New York Excelsior has not lost to a team 3-2. So they won on Blizzard World, but then lost to Horizon Lunar Colony, Lijiang Tower, and Watchpoint Gibraltar. The New York Excelsior then went to take on the Houston Outlaws, denying Houston the opportunity to be in the playoffs in any way by beating them 3-2. After losing Blizzard World, winning Horizon Lunar Colony, losing Lijiang Tower, winning Dorado, and Nepal. Yeah, that's kind of what happened. Okay. The next team here in our power rankings is the Los Angeles Gladiators. They are first overall in the stage. They went 9-1. They were 30-11 and 1, differential of 19. The Gladiators are the fourth team in the playoffs. They're 25-15, 96, 72 and 3, differential of 24. The Gladiators this week took on the Shanghai Dragons, winning 4-0, locking themselves into the playoffs with a win. So they had to do win one, and they're in. Same scenario for Philadelphia. The Gladiators easily had the best opportunity to get in the playoffs because they had to take on Shanghai. As we said last week, it was really down to teams beating Philadelphia. That's what I said. Houston and Seoul had to count on Philadelphia losing 2 games and them winning 2. That's really what it came down to. And I said Seoul had the best opportunity because they would probably be able to beat Dallas and the Gladiators, which of course they beat 1. And compared to Houston, I didn't think they'd be able to beat New York. I didn't think that New York would let Houston in the playoffs just because why would you want to let a different team in? Philadelphia's there. Philadelphia's trash as well. Definitely first round exit team. We'll talk about that after. By the way, the Los Angeles Gladiators took on Shanghai Dragons, winning Kings Row, Horizon, Lijiang, and Watchpoint Gibraltar. They then took on the Seoul Dynasty and eliminated the opportunity for Seoul to make the playoffs, which is very sad for me, as you guys may know. It was very sad for me. The Gladiators, watching that game, that was the last game that I watched of the regular season, actually. I watched all the games from Wednesday and Thursday and Friday up until this point, so I didn't watch the last 4 games of the week. But the Gladiators and Seoul Dynasty, Seoul won Kings Row, and I'm like, alright, we got an opportunity here. And the Gladiators came in and won Hanamura, Oasis, and Watchpoint Gibraltar. They just didn't stop hydration, which it was triggering, because the dude shut him down. You can win. Yeah, so I didn't watch Dallas Fuel, Los Angeles Valiant, Philadelphia Fusion, London Spitfire, Shanghai Dragons, San Francisco Shock, and Boston Uprising, Florida Mayhem. So, the final team, the number 1 team, at the end of stage number 4 for me, is the Los Angeles Valiant. They went 9-1 on the stage. They were 28-13-2, differential of 15. Los Angeles Valiant finished in second in the overall season standings. They are the winner of the Pacific Division and have a bye week along with the New York Excelsior. They will be taking on... they're 164-7 on the stage, and their map differential is 36. Los Angeles Valiant this week went 1-1 against the San Francisco Shock. They were able to win, losing on Kings Row, but then winning Hanamura, Lijiang Tower, and Dorado. They then took on the Dallas Fuel, where they lost and did not get to have the perfect stage, losing Kings Row, winning Horizon, losing Lijiang, and Watchpoint Gibraltar. That's that. We have finished everything. This doesn't have the teams that are qualified yet. I don't know why. You don't update your website, fam. But either way, what is this? You can see... Oh, you can see a team's matchup for a week. That's dope. It's a dope feature. Yeah. So, the playoffs matchups, I believe it's the 1 and 2 seed of bye. So I think it's 3 takes on 6 and 4 takes on 5. So, in... what does it say? Playoffs. The playoffs take place on July 11th. And to the 21st. So basically the format, the qualifying 6 teams will be assigned seeds based on their regular season records. The qualifying and the quarterfinals. The 6th seed will play the 3rd seed. The 5th seed will play the 4th seed. Semifinals lowest seed qualifiers will face the number 1 seed. Each series is a best of 3 matches. Each match is a best of 5 maps. First team to win 2 matches wins the series. So basically, it's a best of 3. So the first team to win 2 matches. And a match is 5 maps. So it works like the stage playoffs. If you win 3 maps, you get the win. So basically, we'll say Boston and Philadelphia, because they're playing each other. Say Boston wins the first 3 maps, they get 1 point. Or they have 1 win. Philadelphia wins the second one, so they win 3 maps, and then they're there. So basically, it's whoever wins 6 maps first wins. Well, not necessarily, but it's a best of 5. So the first team to win 3 and that wins. Then it's another 3 or 5. First team to win 3 and that wins. Basically how it works. Philadelphia and Boston are the first team to play. My predictions for this stage, or for the playoffs, I think it's going to come down to New York, Boston, and London, one of those 3 teams. Well, 2 of those 3 teams will be the finals. Definitely New York. And it's either going to be Boston or London, I feel. I mean, you might have the Valiant slide in there, but the Gliders and the Fusion, I just don't see it happening. The thing is, there will be a new meta, new patch, whatever you want to call it. The meta I don't think will really change, but it's more what you see in comp now, more Hanzo with the arrow, I don't even know what it's called, the toxic arrow we'll call it. And I think the Brigitte change, her rally will do 100 heal instead of 150. I think that's the main changes that you'll see. But I don't think it'll be that big of a deal. Yeah, so overall, though, I think it'll be New York. In the end, will be your champion. Of course, we'll talk about this in our power rankings. So we'll have 4 power rankings for the playoffs, I believe. Week 1, 2, and 3. I believe that's what we're going to do. Now, for the stage, because I'm going to talk about, we're going to talk about the stage playoffs coming up tomorrow. Make sure you guys check that out. 4 p.m. Eastern Time. The Los Angeles Valiant and Los Angeles Letters will be taking each other on. Battle of LA number 5. I think the record of that is 3-1 in favor of the Valiant. And then you have New York Excelsior and Dallas Fuel. I do not believe the Dallas Fuel have beat the New York Excelsior. But it depends on, is the Excelsior really going to try? Is the Excelsior going to show what they showed all stage and say, we're kind of here. We don't really want to show you guys any more strategies for the playoffs? Or are they actually going to come out and try to get $100,000? My bet is they're going to win $100,000. Even if they just try a little bit, I think they can win. So my predictions for the stage playoffs. Valiant and Gladiators, I think it's going to go 5 maps. And I think you're going to see the Los Angeles Valiant come out victorious in that. And then you're going to have the New York Excelsior and Dallas Fuel. I think it'll be 3-1 in favor of New York. And then the finals, New York and Valiant, I think it'll come down to 3-1 again in favor of New York. Yeah, so we don't have any predictions for the playoffs yet. Once all the stuff becomes more official, and I can see the matchups, I will make predictions of that. When it gets a little bit closer. But, yeah, so that's that. Power ranks are done. Hope you guys enjoy the power rankings throughout the season. Of course, we would do playoff power rankings. So this year, we only have a couple more power rankings. We got to do playoff power rankings. And then we have all 4 of that, because we're going to do a pre-one where we rank the top 6 teams. And then we're going to do after round 1, round 2, and then round 3 going into it. I don't know. We'll figure it out. It's going to make sense, though. There'll be 4. And then later on in the year, I believe in December, we'll be doing power rankings for preseason for season number 2. Ranking teams sort of based on where I think they'll be heading into the season. New players and how they perform in the preseason. Now, the wild thing to remember here is I can also see the preseason. Preseason matchups. And in the preseason, I think New York Excelsior looked kind of bad. I think they were like a 1-1 in the preseason. But Shanghai Dragons did not win in the preseason. So Shanghai Dragons are the only team in Overwatch League to not have a win at all, including preseason. They are 0-42. Because in the preseason, looks like they lost to Seoul and Boston. Of course, you guys know throughout the season they did not win. So that is that. I hope you guys have enjoyed Power Rankings. Of course, we'll be back in a couple weeks with the pre-playoff Power Rankings. And yeah, we'll see you guys then. But there is a special video coming up later in the day where we take a look at the preseason predictions, or the predictions for the playoffs that myself and Lemmy made. I'm going to see how wrong we really actually were. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed, and we'll see you guys in the next one.